Yes, good afternoon, class. I welcome you this afternoon. Today we are going to talk about reproduction. I've chosen this quite a lot of questions that we are going to use in our revision and exam preparation and readiness on paper one. So basically, I have got a number of questions that we are going to use here that are going to be used or that are going to be referred on in assuring us that we can try by as much as possible to cover a lot of area and ground with regard to reproduction. I know it's quite a chapter that sometimes is not that difficult, but it has got quite a lot of marks that we should not lose. So without wasting any time, I welcome you again to Metric Hub. So we are going to work on these questions that are displayed on our board there. We're going to answer those questions first, and then we'll see as we go. So I have made short questions and also long questions. As you can see here, the first questions are just definition of terms that you always know that they are there. First question is saying the vesicle which contains enzymes in the head of a sperm cell. Remember, when we are in reproduction, the sperm cell has got a head, it has got a tip that contains some enzymes there which facilitates fertilization. So what is this vessel called? I'm sure you know that at the tip of the sperm cell, we have what we call the acrosome. The acrosome, which actually we are saying that it contains enzymes which dissolves the egg cell in order to allow the nucleus of the two gametes to fuse together. So the acrosome is the one that contains the enzymes found at the tip of the sperm cell. Question number 2, the hormone that stimulates milk production for breastfeeding in humans. We know mammals, when they are, like we are saying, human beings, they are in a class or they are classified under mammals. We have got what is called prolactin hormone. Prolactin hormone, it is produced such that it can stimulate the production of milk. So therefore, milk is produced in order for the mammals or in order for mothers to have milk when after they have given birth. So we are saying the milk is very important. It is produced as a result of the stimulation that is caused by the prolactin hormone. Finger-like projection that develop from the outer membrane of an embryo after implantation. We are saying they are the process of fertilization. From fertilization, the fertilized zygote, it moves from the fallopian tubes and then it goes to the uterus, where it implants itself within the uterus on the endometrium, to be specific. So the finger-like projection that develops there, which increases the absorption of blood and so forth. We are saying what is that called? It is called chronic villi. It is called chronic villi, or some they say villi. So those are finger-like projections that are formed there that helps with the proper attachment of the child on the uterus. So it's called the chronic villus there. Number 4, the organelles found in large quantities in the neck region of a sperm cell. The organelles found in large quantities in the neck of a sperm cell. We are saying at the neck of the sperm cell, these organelles, what are they called? I'm sure that you can remember the structure of a sperm cell, which actually provides or which nourishes the sperm cell with the energy. I'm sure that you remember that it is called the mitochondria. The mitochondria. I'm sure that you remember that it is called the mitochondria, which helps with the nourishment of the sperm cell, such that the sperm cell can have the energy to move, and also even the survival of the sperm cell. It is because of the mitochondria. And then the blood vessel that transports carbon dioxide from the fetus to the placenta. we are saying from the fetus to the placenta, the blood vessel that transport from the baby to the placenta. What is that blood vessel called? You must need to understand that we are saying there is what is called the umbilical cord. Remember that it is actually connected, or it is having the umbilical vein and the umbilical artery. So in this regard, we are asked the one that moves or that transports carbon dioxide, or it can also be called deoxygenated blood, which is, I'm sure you must understand that it is the umbilical artery. The umbilical artery. Uh, One thing that you must understand is that the umbilical artery, it transports carbon dioxide and waste from the what from the fetus to the what to the placenta, and then other times they can also say that it transports deoxygenated blood. That is to say that that is carbon dioxide blood. So we are saying it is the umbilical artery. And then again, I'm just making it clear to you that you need to understand that there is also the umbilical vein. The umbilical vein here is not asked, but just for clarity's sake, the umbilical vein, it is that one which we are saying it is a umbilical vein which also carries oxygen and nutrients, as well as other harmful substances such as alcohol and nicotine, cigarettes, and any other viral particles that can also cross through the placenta. So in this regard, what you need to understand is that it transports them from the mother to the child. The umbilical vein. The umbilical vein, it carries oxygenated blood. And one other thing which is different from it to umbilical artery is that the umbilical vein, it carries oxygenated blood, and again, it is moving from the mother to the child. The umbilical artery, it is from the child to the mother, which is to the placenta. So I'm saying just take note of that. Again, question number 6, a reproductive strategy where the young one receives nutrients through the placenta. We are saying these are development strategies, which I'm sure that you know the development of embryos, that I'm sure that you might have heard or you might have seen before. So what we are saying is that that reproductive strategy where the young one receives nutrients from the placenta. So the placenta is actually giving a connection between the young one and the mother, which is actually using as a nourishment connection. So in that case, we are saying this reproductive strategy, it is known as the vivipary. It's called the vivipary. It is called the vivipary. So which you should understand to say that sometimes if you are saying the viviparous, we are talking about the organisms or the animals, which we would say that these are the animals that lakes if we talk about these other, we are saying the ovipary, we have got the ovivipary and the vivipary. So the vivipary, actually, we are saying it's a form of it's a form of sexual reproduction strategy in which the embryo develops inside the mother's womb. The young one develops within the mother's body in the vivipary condition. So therefore, the placenta is providing the nourishment. And again, I was saying, you need also to know the ovivipary, which we are saying they are also a form of reproduction strategy in which the female keep the eggs inside their body. However, in the ovivipary, we are saying that the egg is kept within the body, but there is no connection between the mother or between the developing egg and the mother. So in other words, we are saying there is no placenta in that regard. That is the ovovivipary. And then eventually we are also saying that there is what is called the ovipary. The ovipary, which we are saying it is also a form of sexual reproduction in which the mother lays eggs that lay outside the body or outside the body. The eggs are laid and then they are hatching outside the mother's body. We are saying that is the ovipary. So these three, we always find times whereby they are being asked. So please check also take note of that clarity again. The duct that transports semen and urine to the outside of the body. This is regarding, or this is referring to male reproductive system. So the duct that transports semen and urine to the outside of the body, I'm sure that you can see that is the urethra. The urethra actually it carries the waste and also the semen or the sperm cells outside the body, which is used as to say it is the exit channel, or it is providing the deposition of the sperm cells within the female reproductive organ through that duct, which is the urethra. And then number 8, the structure that serves as a microfilter during pregnancy. During pregnancy, we have got the placenta. The placenta, it acts as a microfilter, which we are saying that it prevents harmful substances from contaminating the child or from passing from the mother to the child. So it actually prevents harmful substances that might also endanger or that might affect the child. That is the placenta. The part of the male reproductive system which temporarily stores sperm until they mature. I'm sure if you remember again, when we look at the sperm or the production of the sperm cell production, we are quite aware that they are produced in the testicles, to be specific, from the seminiferous tubules. However, the epididymis, it is actually responsible for storing the sperm cells, allowing them for maturation, which I'm sure that you must not forget that the epididymis, it actually provides a storage site which would enable the maturation of the sperm cells. That's what it is. I have just chosen some few questions there, the definition terms. Let's quickly go to the next question. Question 1.2, a process that produces 4 mature gametes in human for a single diploid cell. When you come to this question, I want you to understand again that the four mature gametes in humans are produced only during what? They are only produced during spermatogenesis. So question 1.2a, it is B only. It is B only, which is to say that it is the spermatogenesis. The spermatogenesis is the one that allows or that produces 4 mature gametes in a single diploid cell. Remember that, if you can remember, in oogenesis, we are saying 1 gamete or 1 ovule forms and 3 cells degenerate. The other 3 cells, they die. And then that is why we are saying 1 cell develops and then the other 3, they degenerate. But in terms of spermatogenesis, we are saying at the end of the process there, in spermatogenesis, 4 gametes or 4 sperm cells form and none of the cells degenerate. That is why you see that it is supposed to be understood that it is only spermatogenesis. An extra embryonic membrane found in the amniotic egg. If you can see, in terms of the amniotic egg, I quite want you to remember that the amniotic egg, it is that egg that has got a shell, which we said last time that it is a shelled egg. So if you look in this question, the chorion and the ariontus, these are both extra embryonic. They are extra embryonic membranes that are found on the amniotic egg. If you remember the chorion, we are saying, it is the one that grows around the what? Around the yolk and ariontus, and then permits the gaseous exchange, as you can see there. And then, as you can look on, as you can also remember in terms of this structure, the ariontus, you remember that it grows outside, or it grows out of the embryo and collects waste products. So we are saying these are extra embryonic membranes that are both found there. Hence the answer is what? Both A and B. Both A and B is correct. And then the structure that transports semen out of the body, this one is just quickly repeated again, the urethra, which is B only. Remember to say the scrotum is actually just a sac that protects or that covers the testicles. So it is the urethra B, which is B only. And then a hormone that stimulates puberty, we are saying this is both, if you can see testosterone and estrogen, they both allow or stimulate puberty, a stage of secondary characteristics development. Both A and B are correct. Both A and B are correct in this regard. And then we have got a question there which showing the diagram below shows events that may take place inside a female body. We have got that diagram there, which I'm sure that inside the female body, you should understand that within the female reproductive organ. So we are seeing there at A, at A there are sperm cells that are running towards the egg cell. In other words, before we go anywhere, we can just say that in this at H, there is fertilization that is taking place. There's fertilization that is taking place, and then eventually again, as you go in your exam, you need to understand again to say immediately after fertilization, what is happening? We have got a zygote being formed. The zygote is being formed, and then when the zygote is formed, there is a process of mitotic division that takes place, which would result in the growth of the zygote in order for us to have many other, to have also the zygote developing into an embryo and other until the baby is born. So what is happening here is that we have got seed today. There is mitosis taking place there again, which I'm saying I'm just making sure that these things or these areas, I take note of them before even I go to the question, what is next? And then we have got also at D there. At D, the question, there is the cells which is developing. We are saying zygote is dividing by mitosis such that it can as well form a solid ball of cells, which is called a morula. So a solid ball of cells is usually formed it is formed when we are saying there are cells that are joined together without leaving a space. Therefore, we say that it's a marula or a morula, and then as it develops there, we are saying the morula also, what happens is that it is a solid ball of cells, and then which develops into a hollow ball of cells, which we can call the blastocyst. We are saying in this case, this can also be defined, or it can be seen as our blastocyst. So I'm just trying to make sure that before you go to the question, sometimes when you are given the question paper, you would find out that these things are actually given, and then you would need just to quickly point and jot down some notes before you go to the question. So therefore, you won't forget the answers that you were remembering or that you know about the question. So we are given that is the diagram which is illustrating fertilization that is taking place within the female reproductive body or in the reproductive organ. So let us quickly look at this, and then as you can see here, we are having the small, what you call the blastocyst is attaching itself within the endometrium. That might, of course, have to be seen there to say we are having a membrane that is forming around it there at F, which is given as G. But for the sake of time, let's quickly answer the questions that are next. Identify structure B, identify structure B, identify structure D, identify also structure E. So in our question, the question is saying identify structures B, D, and E. Identify structures B, D, and E. So we are saying B, identify structure B. Our B, we are saying it is a zygote there, which is formed. B is a zygote that you can see there that B, I said that the immediate cell that is formed after fertilization, it is a zygote. That is to say that it is a zygote there. B, D, and then D again, as you can see, we said that a solid ball of cells is a morula, which is D here. It is given as to say it is the morula that I have already shown up there to say it is the morula, that is D. And then E is given that, saying the E there, it is also given, which we said it will form a ball of cells that have got a hole between them, which we said that, which has got a hole, which has got a hollow ball of cells, that we said again, it's what is E here, which is the blastocyst. So what we are saying is that the question is asking us to find B, D, E, and then if you have seen that in this case, now I have already marked them before even I have been asked. So we are saying our B is what is the zygote. Our B is the zygote. Like we said there, I already showed you there, and then we are saying our D there, which is also, which I have already also shown you there again. We are saying it is the D is the morula, and then we are saying E is the blastocyte. Blastocyst or blastula. Others can just say, they can as well mark it correct to say it is blastula, which is also correct. So we are saying those are the things there. And then the next question is saying, name the processes that are taking place at A. Name the processes that are taking place at A. The inner wall of the uterus where the structure E implants. State the number, the type of cell division that takes place at C. So we are saying, our question is saying, the process taking place, the process taking place at A. What is the process taking place at A? At A there, it is fertilization. I've already marked it there to say, you see sperm cells that are stampeding, rushing towards the egg cell. So the process that is taking place there at A is fertilization. Fertilization is taking place at A. And then the next question is saying the inner wall of the uterus where structure E implants. Where structure E implants, the inner wall of the uterus where structure E implants itself. We are saying, where does it implant itself? If you can remember, we said that when this blastocyte, it is within the uterus, it attaches itself to the what? It attaches itself to the endometrium. It attaches itself by the what? By the endometrium. It is the endometrium where this attaches itself. It attaches itself by the what? By the endometrium. It attaches itself by the endometrium there. As you can see, we are saying it attaches itself by the endometrium. That I'm quite sure that you can see. You can also agree with me that that's what is happening. Endometrium is structure E where the blastocyte attaches itself. State the type of cell division that takes place at. State the type of cell division. State the type of cell division that takes place at C. At C, what type of cell division is taking place at C there? At C, we are saying the type of cell division that takes place at C. What type of cell division that takes place at C? I've already shown you again that when the zygote has been formed after fertilization, this zygote, it quickly divides by, there is a mitotic division which enables the zygote to grow. So we are saying at C, I've already marked it that it is what? It is mitosis. It is mitosis that enables the cell to grow there. And then how many chromosomes are normal found in H? Chromosomes that are normal found in H. How many chromosomes are normal found in H? H is just showing the nucleus of an egg cell. So the nucleus of an egg cell, the number of chromosomes here, it is always supposed, or a normal cell. In other words, the question is saying usually found or normally found. They are referring to normal cell, as to say a normal cell must have 23 chromosomes. So we are saying the number of cells that must be, the number of chromosomes that must be found there in H, it should have what? It should have 23 chromosomes. 23 chromosomes are the number of normal cells in on a cell that is normal. Identify the extra embryonic identify the extra embryonic membrane G. What is the extra embryonic membrane G? So G is showing us that, I said again, when the fetus or when the blastocyte touches itself there in the uterus, there is an embryonic cell that forms there, which we said that this it is called the what? G is called a chorion. It is a chorion. G, it is a chorion. So therefore we are saying the extra embryonic membrane that is found at G there, the extra embryonic, it is a chorion. It is a chorion. A chorion is the answer there, which we are saying the extra embryonic membrane that is found there. Let's quickly go to the next question. The diagram below represents organisms with different reproductive strategies. Which diagrams 1 or 2? Which diagrams 1, 2, or 3 represents organisms where external fertilization takes place? External fertilization, if you can see, you are seeing the female fish is given there, and then we have got the male fish, and then in this case we are saying these are the sperms, and these are the eggs that are also laid there. So what is happening is external fertilization is taking place in diagram 1. Where external fertilization is taking place, it is diagram 1. Diagram 1 represents where external fertilization can occur. And then the next question is saying where extra embryonic membrane developed to assist with the protection of the nutrition of the embryo. If you remember that we are saying this one, this is an amniotic egg that is laid here. This is an amniotic egg that is formed there. So obviously an amniotic egg, remember that it always have an extra embryonic membrane that we've been saying that it would have the chorion and then the amniotis that would also form. And then in this case again, remember we said this is a vivipary, which is also to say the young one is also developing within the mother's womb. So we are saying there is a nourishment of the uterus, which is also forming the what? The amniotic fluid and so forth, as you can see from the above question. So it is diagram 1 and 2. In this case, is diagram 2 and 3. Diagram 2 and 3 can show extra embryonic membrane, which are showing oviparous. Which one is showing oviparous? Which diagram is showing oviparous? We are saying where the eggs are laid and then they can develop outside the mother's body. You can see that it is diagram, it can be diagram 1 and 2. Diagram 1 and 2. Diagram 1 and 2. 1 and 2 can represent that. Diagram 1 and 2. Name the type of egg produced by the organism represented in diagram 2. The type of egg, you see, I have not yet seen the question, but in this case, I had managed to answer the question again. It is the amniotic egg. Amniotic egg is developed by what? By organism, or is produced by organism represented in diagram 2. It's an amniotic egg, this one. So as you can see, that's what we are referring to as amniotic egg and shelled egg that can survive over the land with the nourishment of the what? Of the egg yolk. So we can quickly go to our next question. Our next question, the diagram below represents the sequence of events that takes place during the ovarian cycle of a female. You can see the diagram that is given here. And then the question is the diagram showing there where we have got A, B, C, where C is showing an egg cell that is being released. And then we have got that which is remaining. Like I said again, we've been saying that when an egg cell is produced, this is a diagram which is showing the maturation of egg cells within the ovaries. So therefore, we are saying this, in this case, we can just definitely want to understand to say this one, the process that is taking place at C, what is taking place at C, what is the process taking place at C there? I want you to understand to say that you need to understand that these questions, they would always need to be understood very well, and you should not make any mistake that would that might arise or that might cause you to lose marks there. So I'm saying at C there, we have got ovulation that is taking place. And then as you can see, our eggs are maturing, coming in this direction. This is the order of the maturation of the egg cells, starting from here, and then they go in that order. So what we are saying is that let's quickly answer the questions, and then we'll see any other question that might arise. Give the name of the hormone that controls the development of structure A. The development of structure A. We are saying, what is the hormone? The hormone which is controlling the development of structure A, we are saying, what hormone is that? Structure A. What hormone is controlling the development of this one? We are saying this is an egg cell that is growing. So remember that the egg cell is controlled or is influenced to grow by follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone FSH. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, it is responsible for affecting or controlling and stimulating the development of egg cells. Follicle stimulating hormone. The process at C, you can see that a mature egg has grown and then it is being released out of the ovaries. So the release of a mature egg, we are saying this is called ovulation. Ovulation is taking place at C, the release of the mature egg there, which is ovulation. Describe the changes that take place in the uterus as the result of the hormone secreted by structure A. Describe the changes that would take place in the uterus as a result of the hormone secreted by structure A. In this case, we are saying it actually causes the endometrium to become thicker, more granular, and more vascular. That is the changes that are taking place here. The changes that takes place at A as a hormone of A. One, we are saying that it causes the endometrium to become thicker. It causes the endometrium to become thicker. It makes the endometrium to become thicker, which actually or in other words, we are saying to become more vascular, thicker or more vascular there. It causes the endometrium to become more vascular or more strong. That is the changes there. Number 2.13, structure B degenerates if fertilization does not occur. Structure B degenerates if fertilization does not occur. Structure B degenerates if fertilization does not occur. Explain the implication for this, the implications of this for the ovarian cycle, the uterine cycle. So what is happening is that the implication 2.13a, 2.1.3, 2.1.3a, the implications in this case, we are saying the levels of progesterone will develop, will drop. Levels of progesterone will drop. Levels of progesterone will drop just to increase the size of our body. The levels of progesterone will drop. The levels of progesterone, levels of progesterone, the levels of progesterone will drop. The levels of progesterone will drop. That is one thing. And therefore, follicle stimulating hormone secretion is no longer inhibited. Therefore, follicle stimulating hormone won't be inhibited. It won't be inhibited. The follicle stimulating hormone won't be inhibited. The follicle stimulating hormone won't be inhibited. And then the secretion will start, causing it to its secretion will resume. Its secretion will resume. Its secretion will resume there. And then when the secretion of follicle stimulating hormone when the secretion of follicle stimulating hormone resumes, therefore we are saying new follicles will start to grow, resulting in new follicles developing, resulting in new follicles developing. So what we are saying is that if structure P degenerates, if fertilization does not take place, so what we are saying, the ovarian cycle, what happens in the ovarian cycle, we are saying the levels of progesterone will always drop. Therefore, follicle stimulating hormone won't be inhibited, because remember that when fertilization takes place, progesterone level will continue to be secreted. When it continuously becomes available or is continuously secreted, it means that it prevents follicle stimulating hormone to be produced. So in this regard, we are saying the follicle stimulating hormone will start to be secreted because there is no progesterone that is secreted, as in terms of the maintenance of the pregnancy, if ever fertilization is occurred. So in this regard, no fertilization is occurred. Hence, we are saying that new follicles will develop as a result of the secretion of the follicle stimulating hormone that we have identified up there. The follicle stimulating hormone will start to be secreted. And then the uterine cycle, what happens with the uterine cycle, which is question B. The uterine cycle, in this case, we are saying again, the uterine cycle, understand again, class, that one thing that happens, or that we must understand, is that the level of progesterone drops again. The levels of progesterone drops. Progesterone levels, it drops. Progesterone levels drops, one thing, and then the endometrium is no longer maintained, and menstruation will take place. Therefore, we are saying progesterone level drops, therefore the endometrium is no longer maintained. Endometrium is no is no longer maintained. Progesterone level drops because, there is no fertilization, and therefore endometrium is no longer maintained. When the endometrium is not maintained, menstruation will eventually take place. Causing menstruation to take place. Causing menstruation to take place. So what is supposed to be understood is that fertilization always enables, or it enables, the maintenance of the endometrium. Endometrium, which we said that the thickening of the uterus walls, that is what we call the endometrium. So what we are saying is that if ever there is no fertilization, the endometrium is not maintained, and then each cell being not maintained, it must be shed off, it must shrink. The shrinking is as a result of the shedding of the blood, the monthly bloodshed that will take place, which would result in the renewal, or which would cause the blood to be lost. Hence, we are saying menstruation will take place if ever there is no fertilization that has taken place. So that is what exactly happens in this regard there. Let's just quickly look on our next question. Our next question is saying the diagrams 1 and 2 below represents gametogenesis in humans, in human males and females, not in any particular sequence. The diagrams are not to scale. We have got degenerating cells there, and then we have got meiosis 1, meiosis 2. I'm sure if you can just remember in our first questions, we have said that a form of gamete formation which results in four gametes, which is the reason why we said that it is in this case. Obviously, in this case, you must understand to say that this is spermatogenesis. This is spermatogenesis because we have got 4 cells that are formed, and then we have got 3 cells degenerating here. In that regard, we must quickly understand that this is what this process is representing oogenesis. This is representing oogenesis because we have got 3 cells dying there that are degenerating, and then we have got 1 that is going, or that is being alive. Let us quickly see the questions that are following there. Let us quickly answer the question. The diagram, identify the specific type of gametogenesis in diagram 1. The specific type of gametogenesis, I'm sure like you remember that gametogenesis is the process through which gametes are formed, but gametogenesis is divided into two processes, which is oogenesis and what is spermatogenesis. So diagram 1, what type of gametogenesis is taking place in diagram 1? Diagram 1, identify diagram 1. As you can see, we are saying diagram 1, it is oogenesis, like I've said. The evidence is because there are 3 cells that are degenerating here. That is why we say it is oogenesis there. So the type of this one, question 2.2.1, we said you need to understand that this is oogenesis. It is oogenesis. Explain your answer by referring to the visible differences between diagram 1 and 2. I'm sure that you can see. I'm saying at the end of the process in diagram 1, which is oogenesis, question 2.2. Question 2.2. Explain your answer. Explain your answer. Why do we say that? We are saying, why do we say that why do we say that this is what? This is oogenesis. 2.2.2. I am saying at the end of the process in diagram 1, at the end of the process in diagram 1, which we are saying diagram 1, which I said again that it is showing oogenesis at the end of the process in diagram, at the end of the process in diagram 1, in the end of the process in diagram 1, we are saying that one gamete is formed. One gamete is formed, and we have got 3 degenerating. 3 degenerating are being shown there. You can really see that 3 are degenerating there. At the end of this diagram, we are saying there is, at the end of diagram 1, one gamete only forms or is formed, and three of them, three cells are degenerating, which is quite evident from the diagram that we can see there. However, at diagram 2, while on or in diagram 2, in diagram 2, we have got 4 gametes forming and none of them degenerate. In diagram 2, 4 gametes are formed and none of them degenerate. None of them degenerate. None of them degenerate. That is quite clear in our scenario there, that we have got one egg cell that is formed in diagram 1, and then the 3 other cells are dying, they are degenerating. While in diagram 2, where we said that it is spermatogenesis, we have got 4 gametes that are formed, and none of them are dying or none of them degenerates. Let us quickly answer the next question. The next question is saying, where in the human body does the process of gametogenesis shown in diagram 2 takes place? We are saying diagram 2, as you can see, where in the human body do we see diagram 2? Like I said, diagram 2, it is showing spermatogenesis. So where in the human body do we see this process taking place? It takes place where? Where does it take place in human body? Where in human body do we see this process taking place? 2.2.3, I'm saying this is taking place in the testes. It takes place in the testes, which we can also specifically go straight to say that it is seminiferous tubules. I'm sure you remember that the seminiferous tubules is the area from which we have got the production of what? The production of sperm cells. And then the question is saying, give the number of chromosomes, give the chromosome number of the, give the chromosome number of the cell at 1 and cell 2. Cell at 1 and cell 2. Give the chromosome number at cell 1 and cell 2. Cell 1 and cell 2. Cell 1 and cell 2. Basically, these are diploid cells. So diploid cells must always contain half the number of chromosomes of the parent cell. So we are saying the number of chromosomes that must be found in here, it must have 23. It must have 23. Also, it must have 23. They must have 23 chromosomes. They must have 23 chromosomes. That is quite clear that it must have 23 chromosomes. This one. 2.2.5. Name 2 processes that take place during meiosis that leads to genetic variation in the 4 cells shown at 3 in diagram 2. 2 processes that leads to that leads to genetic variation. Genetic variation is to say the general variation, the general difference that would found amongst individuals that are born from the same species or from the same parents. So in this case, we are saying, what are the two processes that would lead 2.2.5, 2.2.5 causes of genetic variation. Causes of genetic variation, it is one, crossing over. Crossing over causes what? Genetic variation, and also it can be crossing over as well as random arrangement or random segregation of chromosomes. Random segregation. Random segregation of chromosomes. So these are the two processes that usually, or that basically causes genetic variation. That basically causes genetic variation. And then the next question is saying, explain the implication for the human population size if 3 cells referred to in diagram 1 did not degenerate but remained as gametes. If we are saying in diagram 1 during oogenesis 2.2.6, we are saying if those 3 cells did not degenerate, what are the implications? What would happen there? We are saying what would happen if the 3 cells referred to in diagram 1 to the 2 cells, 3 cells that you are seeing here, to say if they didn't die, what are the implications in this case? So basically we need to understand that this will result in multiple births, or there will be increased chances of fertilization, which would increase human population. One, we are saying this will result in multiple births. It will result in multiple births. It can result in multiple births. Again, we can also understand that there will be increased chances of fertilization, higher chances of fertilization. If those 3 cells did not degenerate, there will be higher chances of fertilization. Higher chances of fertilization would take place there. And then obviously again, when that happens, which will cause resulting in high population growth. Resulting in high population growth. As you can see, we are saying high chances of fertilization will result in what? In high population growth, because we are saying every egg cell that are formed there, they can be able to form what? They will be able to give a child. They will be able to give a child. Hence, high chance of fertilization will result in high population growth. The question below is saying the diagram below shows the structure of a normal and an abnormal sperm cell. The diagrams are drawn below, not up to scale. We have got two cells there. And then we have got first question is saying, identify part A. Identify part A of this. Identify part A. I'm sure that, as you can remember, we said the tip of the sperm cell, it is always found with what? 2.2.1. This part, or the tip of the sperm cell, it is having the enzymes, which we said that it is the acrosome. It is the acrosome. It is the acrosome, the tip of the sperm cell. Identify the role of the structure B during fertilization. Structure B, it is the one that contains the genetic. It is actually the nucleus of the cell. So the nucleus of the cell, we are saying one, the function of which during fertilization, it carries it fused with the nucleus of the ovum 2.2.2. We are saying one fusing with the nucleus of the egg cell, with the nucleus of the, it actually, the function is that fusing with the nucleus of the egg cell or of the ovum, and also, and it carries the genetic information of the father. It carries the genetic information of the father or of the paternal side. Fusing with the nucleus of the ovum, it also carries the genetic information of the egg cell, I mean of the father side, which is the paternal side. And then question next, explain the role of the organelles found in C. The organelles found in C, we said this is the mitochondria. This is the mitochondria, and then what are those things that what is the function? What is the function of the mitochondria? Explain the role of the organelles that are found in part C, 2.2.3. 2.2.3, the function of it actually produces the energy. The mitochondria have to produce the energy. It produces the energy. It is also or is a site for cellular respiration. It is a site for cellular respiration. Cellular respiration. It is the site for cellular respiration, which we are saying you need to understand that, which is also providing the energy that is needed for the sperm movement. Providing the energy needed for the movement of the sperm cell. Movement of the sperm cell. The sperm cell has to move, so it produces the energy, or is a site for cellular respiration, which provides the energy that is needed for the movement of the sperm cell. And then 2.2.4, 2.2.4, explain two reasons why sperm 1 is structurally better suited for fertilization than sperm 2. Why is sperm 1, it is structurally suited for fertilization than this one? So we are saying in sperm 1, there are higher chances of fertilization than this one. Why is it so? Structure the two sperm cells, as you can see. You can see here there is no acrosome. You can see again this shape of the sperm cell of sperm 1. The sperm 1, it is actually having an oval shape, which would also enable the locomotion, unlike this one, which is round, which would actually be quite difficult for the sperm movement. We also have the other part, which is the tail. The tail here is long. It has got a longer tail, very short, as you can see there. So what we are saying is that why is it sperm 1 is structurally suited for fertilization than sperm 2? So we are saying the sperm 1, we are saying the oval shaped head will facilitate faster movement. Oval shaped head of sperm 1 will facilitate faster movement of the sperm cell. Faster movement of the sperm. That is one. We can as well have to say that the presence of the acrosome in part A, as you can see, they enable penetration of the egg. Sperm 1 is an acrosome, which will enable penetration of the ovum. It has got the acrosome that will enable penetration of the what? Of the ovum. It has got an acrosome that will enable penetration. It has got an acrosome which enables penetration of the what? Of the ovum. I mean, again, we can also say that it has got a long tail which can also facilitate movement, as I've shown there. Sperm 1 is a long tail that facilitates faster movement. Remember, the issue of fertilization is all about the ability of the sperm to move. So these are quite good, sensible answers that we can give there. That the sperm cell, it has got the acrosome which dissolves the egg membrane in order for fertilization to take place. It has got a what? It has got a long tail that would enable quite fast locomotion. We can as well say that it has got an what you call an oval shape head that would also facilitate the movement of the sperm cell again, as you can see in that question. Let's quickly have our next question. This also is showing its next question, which is saying in some frogs, in some frog species, during mating, the male climbs onto the back of the female and grasps her with his front legs. During this time, the female will release about 6,000 ovum, while the male releases sperm onto them. This mating behavior is called aplexis. That is shown there. This is what is shown. The question is saying, name the type of fertilization that occurs during reproduction of sperm cells. In this case, I can sure that here we have got internal and external fertilization. But as you have heard from the context, and also as you know, we are saying this is called external fertilization. It is external. It is external fertilization. It is external fertilization that is taking place there. Explain why the egg laid. Explain why the fertilized eggs of this frog do not survive on land. Why do they not survive on land? We are saying these eggs, why do they not survive on land? They dry out. They dry out. That is one reason that's why they cannot survive, because they need water in terms of them. They need water, so they dry out because they have no shell. They dry out because they don't have a cell. Because they don't have a shell. They do not have a shell. They do not have a shell, so they dry out, or else they are not amniotic. They are also, we can also say that they are what? They are not amniotic eggs, or they don't have an amnion. do not have they do not have an amnion. That is also another reason why they can dry out. They do not have an amnion. And then explain why the fertilized eggs of these frogs do not survive on the land. That's what we said, that they dry out because they do not have a shell. They do not have an amnion, which is also correct again. Explain how aplexis increases the chances of fertilization in frogs. Why aplexis increases the chances of fertilization in frogs. You have seen in the context there, we are saying during this time, the female will release 6,000 ovum, while the male releases what? The sperm onto them. This mating behavior is called aplexis. So the question is saying, explain how aplexis increases the chances of fertilization in frogs. Why aplexis increase the chance of fertilization in frogs? One, we are saying the male and the female bodies are in close contact. One, they are both in close contact. They are both in close contact. They are both in close contact, as you can see there. They are both in close contact. We are saying they are both in close contact so that sperm cells can be released directly onto the eggs. The sperms are directly released onto the eggs, directly released onto the eggs. They are directly released onto the eggs. We can also maybe want to say that we can as well say that we have got 6,000 eggs released since we are saying there are there is quite a lot of eggs that are released. As you can see there, we said the female releases 6,000 ovums. 6,000 ovum are released. That is one other point there. 6,000 ovum they are released to increase the chances of fertilization. Increase chances of external fertilization. Increase chances of external fertilization. That is quite clear there. 6,000 ovum are released to increase chances of external fertilization so that when the sperm cells are spread, they can get in touch with these eggs there. Our next question is saying it is the diagram of the female reproductive organ. Identify part B. Identify part B. It is a diagram of the female reproductive organ. Is saying identify part B. Part B, as is shown there, it is the endometrium. As you can see, part B is the endometrium. Part B is the endometrium. As to say, the walls of the uterus is the endometrium, this one. It is the endometrium, part B. Name the process that takes place in part A that leads to zygote formation. That takes place in part A. Name the process that takes place in part A. These are the fallopian tubes, as you can see. We are saying the process that occurs in fallopian tubes. What is taking place in the fallopian tubes there? So fallopian tubes, the process that takes place there, obviously, which results in the zygote formation, it is fertilization. It is fertilization. Fertilization is taking place there. Fertilization takes place in the fallopian tubes. Describe the process named in what? In 2.1 above. Describe the process that takes place there. It is basically the process through which the nucleus of the sperm cell fuses with the nucleus of the ovum. Describe the process. The nucleus, what is happening here is that we just need to mention that the nucleus of both gametes fuse together. What we are saying is that the male and the female, the sperm cell and the egg cell, the nucleus of the two, they fuse together, and then that is what is happening there in terms of the process that is taking place. The nucleus of both gametes fuse together. That is what is fertilization. And then 2.1.4, describe the development of the zygote until implantation. 2.1.4, 2.1.4, describe the process of, we are saying one, the process, describe the development of the zygote to implantation. This is similar to what we just defined in the first question there. So what is happening here is that the zygote divides by mitosis, because we are saying the development of the zygote until implantation. So we are supposed to explain it from there, from the zygote. So one, the zygote divides by mitosis. Zygote divides by mitosis. The zygote divides by mitosis to form a solid ball of cells, forming a solid ball of cells, which we say that called the blastocyst, solid ball of cells called the solid ball of cells, which we said, the solid ball of cells that we are saying, the solid ball of cells called the what? The morula. The solid ball of cells, which we are saying, solid ball of cells called the morula. Solid ball of cells called the morula. Solid ball of cells called the morula there. So therefore, the morula, which will develop into the hollow ball of cells, which will develop into a hollow ball of cells into a hollow ball of cells called the blastocyte. So zygote divides by mitosis, forming a solid ball of cells called the morula, which will develop into a hollow ball of cells called the blastocyst. So basically, that is the process that we are talking about in this context. And then 2.1.5, 2.1.5. Explain 2 ways in which part D is structurally suited for gestation. Part D, explain that is to say the uterus. How is the uterus, and then how is it structurally suited for, and the uterus walls? How is it structurally suited for what? For gestation or for pregnancy? How is it suited for pregnancy? We are saying one, it is muscular to protect the fetus from mechanical injuries. It is muscular to protect. It is muscular to protect the fetus from mechanical forces. Mechanical injuries. To protect the fetus from mechanical injuries. That is correct. To protect from mechanical injuries. That is correct. It is also muscular to allow birth process. It is muscular. It is muscular also to allow the birth process as well. It is muscular to allow the birth process. It is muscular to allow the birth process also. That is also very correct there. One other point again, it is flexible to expand. The uterus is also, it is flexible such that it can expand to accommodate the growing fetus. It is flexible. It is flexible to allow expansion. To allow expansion and accommodation. Accommodation of the growing fetus. To allow for the growing fetus again. That is quite correct again. And last but not least, in that regard, we can also say that it is also one other last point that we can see. It has got a thickened endometrium that allows for implantation and survival of the embryo. Last but not least, we are saying it has a thickened endometrium to allow implantation. And survival of the embryo. And survival of the embryo. That's it has got a thickened endometrium to allow implantation and survival of the embryo. That is to say that what is the structure which we are talking about? We are talking about the uterus and the uterus walls. How is it suited for it to perform its function? We can quickly go to our next question. We can quickly go to the next question. The diagram represents the male reproductive system. Name part A. Name part A. Part A, as you can see, it is the seminal vascle. Part A, it is the seminal vascle. Part A is the seminal vascle. And then the hormone that is secreted by part B, you can see the testicles there. Part B, the hormone that is secreted there is testosterone. We are saying, I mean, it is testosterone. It is testosterone hormone that is secreted there. Explain one function of the liquid secreted by the prostate gland during reproduction. The prostate gland, that is this one there. What is the function of the hormone that is secreted by it, by the prostate gland? 2.2.1, 2.2, question 2.2.2. We are saying the function of the semen that is produced by prostate gland. You need to understand that it is alkaline, that you need to understand that it is alkaline to neutralize the acidic condition of the vagina. Neutralizing acidic conditions of the vagina. That is one point there. And then it contains mucus to facilitate the movement of the sperm cell. Is mucus. It has got mucus to allow the sperm to move. To allow the sperm to move. And then it also contains nutrients it also has nutrients. Nutrients. It has nutrients. It has got nutrients to supply the sperm with energy. To supply the sperm cell with energy. To supply the sperm cell with energy, it has got, it actually has got nutrients to supply the sperm cell with energy. Question 2.2.3. 2.2.3 is saying prostate cancer is one of the most common types of cancer among men. The table below shows the number of men per 100,000 men of different age group that were diagnosed with the prostate cancer in a certain country over a period of 14 years. Over a period of 14 years. So the question is showing prostate cancer, then age group from 49 up to 80, and then number of prostate cancer cases per 100,000 men. So according to the table, which age group of men is most likely to develop the prostate cancer? In this case, we are talking about the number of cases versus the age groups. So the number of cases, or the age group that has got the highest number, is the one that we can talk about, which we can say that it has got the highest cancer cases. So in terms of the statistics, we are saying we are having the highest figure in this category, which we are saying that it is from what? 70 to 74. 70 to 74. I mean 70, sorry. 70 to 74. Is 70 to 74 years. (70 to 74 years). Draw a histogram to represent the data of men from the age group 60 to 64 to 6 to from 60 to 64 to to the age group 75 to 79. So we are supposed to draw the data that we are supposed to use is from 60 to 64, which we can refer to say, in this case, the histogram is supposed to be drawn. The histogram needs these statistics, not all the data that is shown there. So in this case, we are given that we need to draw a histogram that is there. So one other thing that you must understand is that first and foremost, we must have a title of the graph. The graph title, we are saying number of prostate cancer cases in different age groups. Number of cancer cases in different age groups. In different age groups. Number of cancer cases in different age groups. In different age groups. That's our title there. And then we are saying we need to understand again, when you are given to draw a graph, you must understand also the variation of your of the data that is given. So we need to consider the highest and the least variable, or the least set of data that we are given. So we are saying, starting from this graph, from this column or this row up to that row. So we are saying the highest figure, the lowest figure that we have, the least variable that we have there, actually saying the graph wants us to draw from the age group from up to 79, excuse, so up to 79. So our graph is supposed to end here. Our graph is supposed to end up to 79, which meaning to say that this is not needed. So we are saying our graph is actually considering set of data which is only from we are only supposed to use from this the set of data up to 79. So we are saying, in this case, we need to check our list variable is 488. This is the smallest one, the smallest data set that we have, and then it is followed by 720, and then it is followed by 693, by 764, and then we have got that one as the list. So what we are saying is that the question wants us to draw a histogram based on this set of data. So we have got that. In terms of, we can just choose a scale. There should always be a scale that must be used, as in terms of which variation must be used in order for us to have a good graph there. So we can say, which set of data should we use? Which interval can be used for us to have a good set of data there? Which graph, which can we use? Which we can just want to draw a perfect graph there. We want to draw our graph. We want to draw our graph there. Just to quickly show this. Don't forget, the graph is not drawn to scale. So a histogram, we are saying what is supposed to be on our horizontal and our vertical axis. So we have got the age in what? We have got the age in this case, age which is given in years. And then we also have our vertical axis, which we are saying supposed to have number of prostate cancer cases. We should have number of prostate cancer, number of prostate cancer cases. And don't forget that these cases are given per 100,000 men. per 100,000 men. Number of prostate cancer cases, number of prostate cancer cases per 100,000 men. That is our vertical axis there, as it is shown. So we have said that this is a histogram. Therefore, our graphs must be touching each other. They must be touching each other, and they should be of the same width. A histogram must have the data set which is of the same width again, and also there should not leave spaces between the bars. So we have said that our lowest variable is 200 is 488, and then we have got 720, we have got 664, and then 693, and then we have got the last like that. So we are saying draw our set of data like that. So what is happening is that let's just quickly draw, what interval can we use? If we can use 200, 400, I think that can as well do, we can use an interval of 200, 400, 600, 800. So we can say 200, 400, 600, 800. It's like that, because our biggest figure is 764. So we are saying we go now 60 to 64. 60 to 64 is 488. 60 to 64 is 488. 60 to 64, we can say 488, which is 488. We can just say somewhere there. That is our 488 there. And then we write 488 there. 488, and then it is what? 60 to 64. And then the next set of data is what? The next set of data is 720. We have got 720 from 65 to 69 is what? 720. So we can also take our graph up. We take our graph up. 720. Say 720 is given there. So we say 720, and then we can also say that the age group is what? 65 to 69. 65 to 69. That's the age group there. And then the next one, 65, we have got 70 to 74, 764. 764, which must be a little bit up, Yana. 764. 764. So we have got 764 there. 764, which is also our 70 to 74. And then we have got the last group, which is 693, 75. 693. 693. We can also say that is below that one a bit there. And then we go down. Then we say that it is what? 693. And then it is what? 75 to 75. 75 to 79. So this is given. So in this case, what is most important is that the graph must have a key. I mean, it must, sorry, it must have the bars that are touching each other. That is one key thing. It must have a caption. It must also have the correct labels of the Y and the X axis. As you can see, we have got age on the horizontal axis, and we have got a number of what? Of prostate cancer cases on the vertical axis, which is given by the numbers there. We also have the plotting of the lines. That is well done there. And then one key thing which you need to understand is that as long as also you can label your numbers there to say you are putting your figures there to say what are the reading of the bars. The reading of the bars that are given there also helps you to be credited more marks, because you will be showing that you understand what is exactly being asked in regard to the question that you are answering. So that is what it is. And then you get your 6 marks there. You get your 6 marks. In other words, your graph must not be too long. It must be a good size with a good scale, as we have seen there. We cannot put numbers, all of them, but we can choose a specific sizable scale. And then the title also must be there, which would make the graph to be what? To be smart and quite good size. Let us quickly answer the next question. We can answer our next question. So therefore, we can just quickly answer this one and move on. The next question is showing ovarian cysts in females. Ovarian cysts are fluid-filled structures that develop inside the ovaries of some women. The two common type of cysts in women of reproductive age are follicular cyst and corpus luteum cyst. Follicular cysts develop when a Graafian follicle fails to rupture and release the ovum. The follicle continues to grow because of continual stimulation. A corpus luteum cyst develops when the corpus luteum does not degenerate, which you remember that the corpus luteum is that one which is left after ovulation has taken place. It must degenerate. It must what? It must actually die by the shed of the blood when the person is not pregnant. Women often show no symptoms and the cysts disappear, but in rare cases, ovarian cysts keep on increasing in size. A very large cyst can cause intense pain and may rupture, leading to internal bleeding. Such cysts will require surgical removal. Here is our question now. The first question, 2.3.1. 2.3.1. 2.3.1, which is given in our question, which is asked there. The first question is saying, from the extract, give two structures in the ovary cyst that may develop, two structures in the ovary that may develop into cyst. Two structures in the ovary that may develop into cyst. As you can see here, ovarian cysts we are saying are fluid-filled structures that develop inside the ovaries of what? Of some women. The question, we are saying the two common type of cysts in women is the reproductive women are follicular cyst and corpus luteum cyst. So two structures in the ovary that can develop into cyst. We are having the follicles and also the corpus luteum. And also the corpus luteum. The corpus luteum. That are the ones that can cause the two symptoms associated with very large cyst. Two symptoms that are associated with this. The most, symptoms that are associated with them. Two symptoms that are associated with them. One, we are saying they can keep on increasing in size. Two symptoms associated with large cyst. We are saying it is one, they keep on growing. They keep on growing. They keep on growing, and then they also cause intense pain. They cause intense pain. Intense pain. They cause intense pain. We also have to say again that they can also rupture. They can also rupture. They can also rupture, as to say they can break, and then, of course, causing internal bleeding. Internal bleeding. Internal bleeding can as well be seen there in that regard. And then name the hormones. Name the hormones responsible for the growth of follicle under normal conditions. I'm sure this we have been doing it ever from the phases, from the time we started. Uh, uh, the hormone responsible for follicle under normal conditions, we said is follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and then the hormone that will be high in concentration in the blood of women where follicular cysts develop. We are saying it can also be uh we have got quite a number of hormones that can be there. It can be estrogen. Estrogen can be right also. We can also luteinizing hormone can also be there. We can as well have the follicle stimulating hormone, which we are saying that when that will be high in concentration in the blood of women where follicular cysts develop, because we can see, for example, that there is follicles that are extremely growing. We can also talk about also, which we are saying the follicles are as also caused because of secondary characteristics development, which we say the estrogen, the luteinizing hormone, and FSH. Give reasons to your answer that can cause that one. Number 2.3.3. 2.3.3. Give reasons. 2.3.3. Give reasons for your answer. One, we are saying, causes of that, it can be because of the graphene follicle keeps on producing estrogen, fail to rupture. Graphene follicle keep on producing estrogen or fail to rupture. Will keep on producing estrogen and fail to rupture. That can be the reason there. And also, we can also, because of saying the increased secretion of estrogen stimulates the secretion of what? Luteinizing hormone. Excess estrogen secretion we are saying stimulates the secretion of LH, or stimulate secretion of luteinizing hormone, or stimulate the secretion of luteinizing hormone. And then lastly, excess production of FS causes the failure of failure to ovulate, which is one other last point that we can give also. The increase, excess production of FS excess production of follicle stimulating hormone production of follicle stimulating hormone can cause the failure to ovulate. Can cause failure to ovulate. Can cause failure to ovulate. Those are some of the reasons which can cause this scenario. Question 2.34. Explain why women will not be able to fall pregnant if she has got a corpus luteum cyst that does not disappear. 2.3.4. 2.3.4. The corpus luteum does not degenerate and keep on secreting progesterone. It does not degenerate and keep on. It does not degenerate and keeps on secreting progesterone. Keeps on secreting progesterone. It keeps on secreting progesterone. That's one other thing that can happen there. It keeps on secreting progesterone, and then this will inhibit the pituitary gland from secreting FH, inhibiting the pituitary gland from secreting the pituitary gland from secreting FSH, and therefore no follicle will develop and no ovulation, and hence no follicles will develop, and thus no ovulation will take place. No ovulation will take place. No ovulation will take place. That's what it is. That's the scenario to say women will not be able to fall pregnant if she has got corpus luteum cyst that does not disappear, because you remember to say the corpus luteum, it means that it is keeping on secreting progesterone, and then it is inhibiting the pituitary gland from secreting follicle stimulating hormone, which would eventually cause no follicles to develop. And then whichever case, when there is no follicles developing, there is no ovulation that will take place. Hence, they won't be able to form, these women cannot be able to fall pregnant. They won't be able to fall pregnant because of that condition. That's what it is. And then that's what exactly the situation, or that's what the condition is supposed to be like referring to. That's what the condition is meaning to. So I'm quite sure that these are the questions that we can actually see in our in our reproductive questions that I've tried to catch on, try to move around and bring them together. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you are going to enjoy the presentation. I've of course given any other question that would arise, which I gave you last time, to say the difference between the umbilical vein and the umbilical artery. I've given you in the beginning that they are actually there in order to ensure that the umbilical vein, it is actually having a high concentration of nutrients, which also we are saying that it does not have waste also, or we say it has got low concentration of waste and high concentration of oxygen. We also have to say again that it has got low concentration of carbon dioxide, the umbilical vein. And on the other note again, the question which explains about the the placenta, which I have given in the context or in our scenario above the previous questions, which we said that the placenta, it acts as a microfilter that prevents harmful substances from reaching the fetus, which we are saying it secretes also progesterone or estrogen producing, during pregnancy, and then immunity is transferred from the mother to the fetus. Those are some of the points that we can give whenever we are answering questions such as those ones. And then the harmful substance that might pass also, we are saying harmful substance that might pass from the mother to the from the mother's blood to the blood of the fetus. I'm sure that you have understood to say some of the waste product must be filtered, which are such as what? These waste products, we've seen that some waste products such as nitrogenous waste, carbon dioxide, which would accumulate in the body of in the fetus body, might cause death of the of the baby or of the fetus, which is why we talk about what? The essence of microfiltering. Thank you very much for your time and all the best. Thank you very much for your time and all the best. I wish you that you are going to enjoy the study, the revision, and all the best in this presentation. Don't forget to subscribe so therefore you can be able to see our next presentation. Thank you very much and you have a wonderful study.